See, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I got the biggest memory I have of Uncle Gus's house, it was in Bexley, was they had a sliding glass door that went to a patio.
Right.
And I didn't know that sucker was closed.
Oh boy.
And I went running and just boom, hit that thing. and it knocked it off of its track. You know, the bottom part got knocked off of its track. Thank God the thing didn't come down, because I mean, back then, the glasses.
Right.
But that's the biggest thing I remember. But no, Greg, I don't know if Greg will ever watch this. He'll remember though.
Yeah.
Greg liked to party.
Oh, absolutely.
And he liked to party underage. I was in my 20s at the time, and a good friend of mine had put in a lighting system at a place called Ciro's out on the east side. Okay. He said, man, you got to come out and check it out. I said, all right. So I went out. The guy's name was Ron Brown. And so he put it in. He had floor lights that were coming up and all kinds of stuff. I mean, for that time, it was a really cool thing, you know. And so I go over to the bar, and I order a beer, and I'm watching the light show, and I'm talking to Ron, and I look around the bar, and there's Greg sitting there at the bar.
Oh, my God.
At the bar. And he's drunk. And I went over and I said, Greg, hey, Mike, how you doing? What are you doing here? No, the question is, my friend, what are you doing here?
Right.
You're 16 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? So I proceeded to get him out of there. I obviously was not going to let him drive.
No.
And we went to, there was a Perkins, not a Perkins, but a Western Pancake House on the east side of at that time, I think. And we went to the Western Pancake House, and I got him sobered up. We sat there for two and a half hours. I got him sobered up with some food in him and this and that.
Yeah.
And then he finally could remember where his car was.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I followed him to his house, and he got home safely.
Never let him in the car.
Yeah, well, I mean, he wasn't that far from home, but I didn't want him to get busted. So other than the bike, favorite toys that you got, either for Christmas or...
Oh, I think my most favorite toy was the tank.
Yes!
With the bullets.
Right. And guess who else had one besides you and me?
Who?
Keith.
Did he really?
Yeah, and we all got them the same year. And we were all three tanks were, you know how they had that little bit slope on here? All of us had the tanks.
We're firing them bullets.
And we wore those batteries out in no time.
I mean to tell you.
And it took like 8 D-cell batteries to run.
It was a bunch.
It was a bunch. I mean, they had to run to the store 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
We wore them out.
8 D-cell batteries then was probably $1.
Yeah, but...
Anyway, still. But yeah, that tank that fired those bullets.
Yeah, the Mattel.
Man, that was something.
Yeah.
And I can remember every Christmas, we'd get some gifts, and there'd be a big gift.
Right. There'd
be one big gift.
That was the big one.
That was the big one.
Yeah, everything else was socks and gloves. And
Yeah.
You know.
Change your way.
That's funny. I thought exactly the same thing.
Did you really?
At Easter, did you ever get the quarter?
I did.
In the bread?
In the bread. Sweet bread.
Did it give you good luck? Like it was supposed to?
It did. If you think about a 48-year marriage.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, it did in many ways. It wasn't just, meeting my soulmate at 18 years old. She was 17. But the psychological problems that I had in my early 20s,
right,
and all the anxiety and panic attacks and psychiatrists.
Well, she got you through all that, didn't she?
And Janie, God bless her, God rest her soul, she got me through that whole thing.
Favorite school teacher? I had 2 of them, but for different reasons.
I don't recall. I recall 2 of them in high school.
High school, yeah.
I don't recall any of my teachers in junior high and Dominion.
I don't either. I was thinking high school.
And I don't remember any of them at Indian Springs, and that's awful. I should. But I do remember getting taken down to the office at Indian Springs.
What?
When I was in 3rd or 4th grade.
Okay, this is news to me.
Oh yeah, this is going to be good. Yeah, you're going to like this. I don't know whether I was in 3rd or 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that. Anyway, I got the bright idea when it came test time to go up to the teacher's desk and take one of the tests and go back to my test and write all the answers down. Then I'd turn them both
The teacher
in.
had the answers to the test on her desk?
No, the other kids that had turned in.
Oh.
That had turned in their test.
Okay, all right.
Well, I wasn't doing real well. I don't know, it was 3rd or 4th grade, but I wasn't doing real well. And then all of a sudden, I devised a way to do really well. So they questioned that.
You think?
Yeah. But anyway, I devised this method of doing better on my tests. And
Studying was not an option.
it was not an option, no. No, and everybody couldn't figure out how I went from D's and F's to like straight A's.
Well, you obviously got the right students' test scores.
Yeah. Oh, I always picked the smartest student in the kid. I'd watch them put their paper down. I was like, going after that one.
Well, where was the teacher when you were doing it?
I have no idea. Teacher would leave the room, come back in.
And nobody squealed on you?
Well, they caught me. They caught me. I used to make, when I put true and false, we would grade it on paper sometimes, you know. And I would put an extra line up to the left side of the T and another line in the middle of the T and make it an F. You know, like you go like this.
Right, I get it.
You go like this, and it's an F. So I got away with that for a little while. But no, I ended up in the office over that and got in a lot of trouble. As a matter of fact, they were talking about holding me back. They were talking about failing, I don't know, it was 4th grade, 3rd grade or 4th grade or something. But Mom got involved in that one. Mom came over.
You know,
And
most would say it's really hard to flunk in elementary school.
if anybody could have done it, it would have been me. I don't know why, but even in elementary school, I always looked for the path of least resistance for some reason. You know,
Well, I have a story about you in high school that proves that.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back to your original question about who my favorite teacher was, it was Mr. Bayanoy.
Yes.
Mr. Bayanoy for POD.
Okay.
Problems of Democracy. And then I had an English teacher, Mrs. Hamilton, who was flat out freaking gorgeous. And I heard, and it really pissed me off, I heard that she was dating Mr. Simmons, the vice principal.
Really?
Yeah. And that just freaked me out.
Do you remember a teacher named Mrs. Yarnell?
I remember the name, but I couldn't tell you what she
was
taught.
the French teacher.
I don't think I took French.
I didn't either, regrettably, because she was really good looking. I had Van Oy for POD, but
Well, that was an old story, because I didn't have Anoy as the classes were being handed out. And I made such a stink about that at the office, told them that's who I wanted. I got Mom involved. It was a big to-do in the office.
Really?
Yeah, and they finally gave me Mr. Van Oy for POD.
yeah, he was great.
Everybody wanted Van Oy for
Well,
POD.
sure. Did you know he used to do those court shows, the local court show where it was, there was a judge and there was somebody was coming up for a traffic violation or was coming up for a drunk driver or something like that. And Van Oy used to be one of the actors.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he used to be one of the actors, like on Channel 10 in the afternoons, 5 o'clock, 5:30 or something. There was, and he was a great drunk. He was he was hysterical. He was hysterical.
Good guy. Well, and then the wood shop teacher. I remember the guy's name.
Oh, I bribed him.
I in my senior year, one of my full credits, was taking wood shop 2 periods a day, 8th
Right.
and 9th period.
Right.
And of course, 8th and 9th period were excellent periods to cut school.
Yeah.
And all I can remember is the wood shop teacher was like 10'6" and 500 pounds. The guy was huge.
Yeah.
The guy was huge. And I remember a buddy of mine his name was Steve Mertz. And we had a contest on who could sign the paddle the most times in a year.
Oh my God.
He beat me by 1. 31, I signed it 30 times. Because I got caught cutting class, or a couple of times he would paddle you even if it wasn't something in his classroom.
They would bring him in to paddle.
He was the designated
paddler.
Oh, and his paddle was about 2 foot with a bunch of holes in it.
Oh yeah, it went fast.
Man. Well, one time I made a mistake.
Oh no, you made a mistake more than once.
Oh, I did. But before I was ready to get paddled, and I knew I was going to really catch it. Well, I stuck a bunch of magazines down my butt. Man, he found out about that. Get the magazines out of your pants.
Well, wouldn't it look kind of obvious if your ass is kind of rectangular?
Well, I wasn't that smart, okay? And he goes, well, class, what do you think?
Class?
Yeah, he asked the class because they all gathered around.
Oh, God.
They all gathered around. And he says, half speed or full speed?
Oh, man.
Of course, everyone's yelling, full speed ahead.
Yeah, sure.
I had racing stripes on my ass for a month. God, I thought I was going to go over the table. Wood shop table. Man.
I had, by the time I got to my senior year, I had cutting classes down to a science, and I had the note that Mom would write for me to a science.
Oh, yeah.
And what I did was I typed the note, and then I forged Mom's signature. Mm-hmm. So the next day I'd take it in and say, okay, here's a note from my mom, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Well, one day, Jeff Fenholt and me decided we were going to cut class together and then just go to campus, just spend the day on campus.
Right.
You wanted to tag along. So we said, yeah, sure.
Oh, boy.
And everybody's on their own, as far as how they're going to take care of the cutting thing. So Jeff and I, we had our things ready for the next morning, our little thing.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, this is going south really quick is where this is going.
I think I know exactly where this is going.
So we get through the morning, and it's cool, man. We're in like Flint, so we get to the afternoon class.